Chapter 21 to 22. When Eren and Zeke watch the memories of when he was 9 years old, Zeke says, Grisha has loved you and raised you freely. So, our father never brainwashed you? That's what I've been trying to tell you. Eren says, Ymir had to wander his memories for years. But then, why did you betray me? He passed his Titan down to you without telling you a thing. Zeke says, yet you keep fighting just as he wished. Eren, why did you refuse to end this conflict? What did you plan on doing with the Founder's powers? Eren says, something that should have been done in the first place. And who said I refused to end the conflict? I am just me. I always have been. Then they watch how Eren saved Mikasa, and he continues, I guess you thought the two of us were the same, but you're wrong. If someone tries to steal my freedom away, I won't hesitate to take theirs. Our father didn't make me that way. I have been like this since birth. Since birth. Zeke is confused. You won't find the pathetic little brother you waned in me or someone who conveniently shares your emotional scars either. What I see here is a man who can only define himself through the continued denial of Grisha Jaeger's wish to restore Eldia. A pathetic man still haunted by his dead father. Eren says, if so, this man is grateful to that father. For his acts opened his son's eyes, ultimately saving the world from the danger Eldia poses. You could even say it was that father who saved this world. Ironic, isn't it? Then they watch how Eren wrapped his scarf around Mikasa. Then they change into the basement where Grisha is writing the 3 books. Humanity has not perished. I see. What grand words he left behind. Zeke stares into the book and mutters. And then the time changes to the day when Bertolt broke the wall. Eren said he wants to join the Survey Corps. Mikasa said to Carla, what are you thinking? Do you know how many people have died because they dared to venture outside the wall? Yes, I know. Younger Eren retorted. Eren, why do you want to go outside? Grisha asked. I hate the idea of spending my whole life inside the wall, ignorant of what's happening in the world outside. And besides, if there's no one to carry on, everyone who died up to now will have died in vain. And just as Grisha was about to leave, Carla said, wait, honey, talk some sense into your son. Eren, when I get home, I'll show you what's in the basement that I've been keeping secret all this time. Grisha said, really? The younger Eren said. After Grisha left, his face turned into dread as he was walking towards the rice chapel. Once he confronted the family, he yelled, I am an Eldian and I have come from beyond the walls. I, like you, am a subject of Ymir, king of the walls. Please, you must kill the titans attacking the walls at once, before my wife and my kids, before the people of the walls are eaten. We can't escape our sins. The time has come for the subjects of Ymir to face judgment. Man is far too weak in the face of such massive power. The tragedy of the Titan War opened my eyes. To that someone must keep the power of the Titans out of human hands. If the power of the Founder were to again fall into the hands of the weak, the world would be turned to hell once more. In order to protect the world, we must accept our sins. Our only choice is to perish. Zeke and Eren were watching as Zeke says, I feel as if I would have gotten along with that lady, but this family will soon be slaughtered by Grisha. You said you saw this memory before, and that it made you lose all hope in our father. Was that another lie? Eren says nothing as they continue to watch. My home is beside the breach in the wall. I live there with my wife, my son, and my daughter. The people who live in these walls know nothing about the crimes committed by their ancestors. All because you stole their memories. You call this atonement? Damning us to be eaten by titans? Ignorant to the end. No matter how we may repent, we Eldians can never return the human lives we took. But what we can do is never take another life beyond our walls. So long as we remain ignorant and accept the world's rage, we Eldians will be the only ones who have to die. There is no point in trying to convince me, and even if you do take the founding titan from me, you can't. Who said I can't? Grisha suddenly says, which causes them to be shocked. I am the descendant of the Jaeger family, the royal family that holds the attack titan. Thus I'll be able to use the full power of the attack titan. From a long time ago, the inheritor of the attack titan never obeyed others, and I know why. It's all been to resist the self-righteousness of the king. Yes, for this one moment. We've all been led to this memory. The attack titan is capable of manipulating time. Thus we can see the memories of its future inheritors. In other words, it is capable of knowing the future. The future? I don't understand. Zeke gasps. The attack titans I've never heard. I also knew that you would be unaware of this. Because even if you are the true royal family of the founding titan, the vow to renounce war keeps you from using the founder's full power as well. I will eat the founder here, and I will end this ridiculous vow that is the future already set out for us. Just as Grisha was about to transform, Frida was trying to protect her family. But just then, Grisha kneeled down and muttered, I can't. I could never kill children. I am a doctor. I save lives. Impossible. But Grisha did take the founder. He massacred this family, didn't he? It's not as if the past could have changed, right? Zeke asks, didn't he say, the attack titan can manipulate time? Eren says in a cold tone, and just then, he finds the 15-year-old Eren standing beside Grisha. What are you doing? Stand. Father, Eren said. Did you forget why you came here? Isn't it to get revenge? For your little sister who was being eaten by dogs? For your fellow restorationists, for Dina, for Kruger, you advance on to avenge them even if you die, even after you die. Dad, you started this story, didn't you? And just then, Grisha did the thing and steal the founder from Frida and also killed the other family members except for the father. They also saw the 15-year-old Eren helping Grisha out of the chapel. Eren, I killed them. Even those children. I pulverized them with my hands. I felt it. I killed the Rice family. All but their father. Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? Was this what I needed to do to save Eldia? Grisha yelled at him. The 15-year-old Eren said, I'm sorry, father. But because of their ignorance, my mom was killed by the Titans, and more of my friends were also eaten and killed. Not only that, we tried to negotiate with the world, only for the world to gather and declare war on us. Everyone will be killed if you didn't steal the founding Titan. Father, you've done your job. All you need to do is pass down the Titan to my younger self. You have the founding Titan, but unlike the other Titans who could just transfer powers, you still need to let me devour you to pass the founding Titan. I promised that I will be the last founding Titan and the attack Titan. And after the 15-year-old Eren left, Grisha cried and muttered, was this really the only way? Then he noticed the 19-year-old Eren and Zeke. You are there, aren't you? Zeke gasps and Grisha says, from here on, you won't get what you want. It will all be going Eren's way. What are you saying? Zeke asks. I saw Eren's memories of what's next. But I never thought it could get so terrible if I don't give him the founding Titan. Grisha says while raising his head. Zeke, is that you? Oh, how you've grown. Then he stands up and says, I'm sorry. I was a terrible father. I put you through so much suffering. Zeke, I love you. He hugs Zeke and mutters, if only I had spent more time playing with you. Dad. Just then, Eren sighs as he brings Zeke back to reality. He says, I decided to stop there right now. Eren, you were the one who pushed Dad to fight the king of the walls in the world? If the attack Titan does have the power to manipulate time, you should also have the ability to affect the past by showing Grisha only the memories that would serve you best. If Grisha hesitated to carry out his duty as a restorationist. If what I saw in your memories was true, and yet he did steal it and entrusted both to you, that's because he saw the memories further into the future. You showed him something, right? Eren says, the Rice family has another child as a sole survivor, and she is my wife, the mother of Ymir. When we got into contact 4 years ago, that was the time when the vow of renouncing war finally broke and I saw the memories of the future just like my old man. He turns around and says, first of all, I managed to unite the 9 royal families who caused the Great Titan War into one again, and all of them will be the final inheritors of the power of the 9. I've also changed the blood of all Eldians except for the 8 of us so that nobody can turn into Titans and the blood test won't verify that they are Eldians. And finally, the world wants us dead. So I'll take their freedom first by unleashing all the Wall Titans to trample the earth beyond the island. Hizuru volunteers will save innocent children and those who want to join our cause. So far, the rumbling has destroyed half of Marley and 60% of the world population. You! Zeke gasps in shock and Eren says, I tried to avoid this outcome. That's why, with the help of the only member of the Tiber family that's also in the volunteers you sent, I tried to warn them, but they ignored my warning and also trying to kill us because we're Eldians. If anything, they got what they want. The rumbling happened because of their selfish acts. Zeke widens his eyes and says, I know I can't ignore the sin that we committed, but if it is for my child Ymir to live in a world where nobody will threaten her and the people on the island, I will continue to move forward. He says, and as the king of the walls, I have a meeting in the government that I'll need to leave right now. I kept you alive because you're still my brother. Who knows how many people are willing to kill you for killing Commander Erwin, Mike, and the others. Zeke can only kneel in defeat as Eren leaves the dungeon. Eren returns to the meeting room. He is slightly delighted to see Ymir sitting on Historia's lap. Eren asks, so what have I missed? Historia says, we were just talking about what to do with Zeke. So how did he take the news? I showed him my father's memories, and I also let my father apologize to him. Eren says while sitting between Historia and Mikasa. So what is your decision? Odom says, considering that he's the one who betrayed us and turned us into Titans, most of us think that we should eliminate him. But since he's your brother and he's not a Titan anymore, maybe we should exile him instead. In people's eyes, Zeke's already dead. Aya says. Historia sighs and says, we did a vote. Peter, Odom, Mikasa, and Sasha want him dead. Flock, Louise, Gloria, and Aya want his exile. As for me, I stay neutral, so we decide to give you the final choice. Eren sighs and says, before today, he always thought that I'm like him, being brainwashed by my dad. Even if he wanted to euthanize us Eldians, he still wants to save me. I think we should let his exile. But Odom tries to retort, but Eren says, please let me finish first. If only Captain Levi is still alive and somehow returns to the island, he'll be given the execution. Are you sure it's a good idea? I mean, Captain Levi was with those people who wanted to ruin our island and destroy the rumbling. Flock says, from what I know about him, living in the underground for years, he doesn't even care about humanity. The only reason he's with them is because of Hang. All he wants is to fulfill the promise he made with Commander Erwin, killing my brother. I see, Historia says. If that's the case, we'll exile Zeke, and if Levi manages to survive and return, he'll do the honors. Are there any objections? Turns out that nobody rejects the idea, and they decide to end the discussion. That night, Eren is watching the moon and both Historia and Mikasa walk toward him. Mikasa asks, Eren, what are you thinking right now? Armin, Hang, and the others? If my memories are right, they're not going to live any longer. I was wondering before I bid farewell to Armin. Should I talk to him for the very last time? But didn't you change his blood into an Uneldian? Can you still use the Founder to control him? Historia asks. To tell the truth, I haven't changed their blood yet. Eren says. Reiner, Connie, Jean, Hang, Peek, Gabby, Falco, Colt, and Armin. Their blood will only change if they manage to survive the rumbling. The others, their blood changes. I see. I would want to talk to Armin for the last time as well. Mikasa says. On the airship, Onyankapan is still flying as Hang asks. So are you sure the fuel will be able to lead us to the rumbling? Yes, before we leave, the fuel tank is full. Onyankapan says. However, you should realize that this is a suicide mission. We don't know if you will be able to live once you stopped the rumbling. Yeah, but we shouldn't give up. We still need to try. Humanity's fate is in our hands. Hang replies. At the same time, Levi opens the door and Jean says, Hey, Captain Levi, what are you doing? Onyankapan, tell me, did Zeke really die? Levi asks. His Titan might have been taken, but I refuse to believe that guy will just die to Magath and Peek like that. Tell me right now. Onyankapan flinches and Hang asks, What do you mean? Didn't they say they kill Zeke already? Onyankapan frowns and sighs. You're right, Zeke didn't die. This causes everyone to flinch in shock. Hang says, what did you just say? Just when the rumbling happens, Zeke was being taken by the Ygrists to the dungeon. To make sure the panic doesn't reach the civilians, they tell everyone that Zeke is dead. I believe that they are going to hold a meeting to determine the fate of Zeke Yeager. TCH. Levi says, I was right this whole time. Then he says, Hang, I'm sorry, but all this time my goal is to kill Zeke. This is a promise that I made with Erwin. Levi. Hang is shocked. I always thought that life on the ground is different from the underground, but seeing the struggles Eren and the Ygrists are making, I realize they are not different after all. He turns to Onyankapan and says, Besides, I may be still alive, but at my state, I won't be able to do a thing to those colossal titans. If you're going back to parody, bring me back. Hang, Jean, Connie, and Onyankapan are shocked to hear what Levi said. And Hang closes her only eye and says, I see. Then they all head back to the others. Jean and Connie find that Armin is with the Marlians. Jean sits down and frowns, and Armin asks, Guys, what's wrong? It turns out that Captain Levi isn't going to come with us to stop the rumbling. All he wants is to get back to Parody Island to kill Zeke. Connie says, But Zeke is dead, right? Colt asks, Peek and Captain Magath killed him, right? Sad to say, no. Jean says. Onyankapan reveals that the Ygrists saved Zeke at the last moment and they put him in the dungeon on Parody Island. So they lied to us. Again, Armin frowns. So without Captain Levi, Annie, Gabby, and Falco, there are only 7 of us who are trying to stop the rumbling. We want to help as well. Falco says. No, you two are still kids, and we're not going to let you get yourselves killed. Peek says. What does it even matter if we're kids or not? We are warrior candidates and we've been training for these. Gabby retorts. We can fight as well. Besides, if our parents really are trampled to death, then at least we'll also join them. Falco says. Gabby, Colt. Reiner mutters in surprise. So this is Fort Salta? Are there really airships here? On a train, Annie's father is pointing the rifle at a Marlian driver. We won't know until we get up that mountain. Do you really plan to flee using the airships, you Eldian scum? Watch your tongue, Marlian. It's thanks to who that you're not flattened under the rumbling? If there's no hangar, your families die from the rumbling. If you betray, we'll kill you. This is the only way for all of us to survive. It doesn't matter if the chances are low. We are surviving this. On the train, a lot of people are sitting in despair. Falco's father is trying to comfort Gabi's parents. Don't worry, Mr. Braun. My son is strong. So she's with Colt and Reiner in parody. Our child is on the Devil's Island? She won't make it, Gabi's father says. We could have been together in our last moments if it wasn't for the warrior program. Gabi's mother laments, and Karina hears everything. Reiner. She looks at the armband and mutters, Mr. Finger, just throw away that armband. A man says to Peek's father, this is what my daughter earned after sacrificing everything for me. Just then, they are shocked to see that the airships are leaving. Annie's father grits his teeth and says, damn it, hurry, there will be spare airships. I know, but they also notice that the colossal titans are moving, and they realize that the airships are a bombing fleet. They're going to blast the titans to smithereens from above. Once the train arrives at the fort, they find that the Zeppelins are all left to attack, and in the fort, Muller says, this is an announcement to the Zeppelin unit and all our forces still in this port. This place is the last remaining stronghold left for humanity if we don't count Parody Island and Hizuru. The weight on your shoulders is unimaginable. However, no matter the outcome, it will not be your responsibility alone. We are all responsible. Every single grown man and woman. We used hatred against one another. We cultivated it and believed that it could save us. We blamed all of our problems and inadequacies on the devils of the island. And the result? Those monsters are coming to return all the hatred we've poured onto them for centuries. If somehow there is a future for us, I swear right here and now to not repeat that mistake. If we live to see tomorrow. At the same time, Karina remembers the past when she was with Reiner. She kneels down and says, all this time, my little boy, I used him to get revenge. I never treated him like a mother. Should I did the same? While the others are trying to comfort them, Muller continues, I want you all to vow to put the era of hatred behind us. The Zeppelin unit is in formation. Start the attack as soon as you reach the target altitude. Let's build a world where we all treat one another with kindness. And bid farewell to the monsters here and now. The bombs are destroying the titans from above, and they manage to kill some of the colossal titans, but most of them are missing the Trogets. The colossal titans aren't phased as they continue to move forward. As we predicted, many of them are missing the target. Don't stop. Everything depends on this attack. But just after they finish throwing the bombs, they realize that there are still more titans. They are forced to retreat to Fort Salta, but they realize they don't have time to refuel the bombs. The Zeppelin unit, the bombs, they're not enough. But there's no time to refuel it. Muller closes his eyes and mutters, forgive us, you children are completely innocent. Annie's father says, I'm sure both Reiner and Annie are alive and well on Parody Island. They won't die before their parents. Yes, they're alive, I'm sure of it. And that's enough for me. Karina replies. Just then, Onyankopon finally gets to the top of the rumbling. He says, we're finally catching up to the rumbling. I'll be dropping you to the fort over there, and we'll leave the fate to you. You've done a lot. Hang says, thank you. At the same time, Annie looks outside the window and she's surprised to see her father standing beside Reiner's mother. That's my father. Gabi and the others are peeking out the window and Falco says, our parents as well. We need to find them. Gabi says. Armin asks, so Annie, your father is still alive. Are you still going to stay on the flying boat? No, I'm going to see him. Even if this might be the last time. Annie says, before they are going to jump down. Levi says, hey Four Eyes, and all of you. Everyone turns to him, and he closes his eyes and mutters, dedicate your hearts. Everyone widens their eyes. And Hang says, haha, that's the first time I've ever heard you say that. Connie says, Captain Levi, if you manage to meet Sasha again, please tell her to help me take care of my mother if I didn't make it back. Levi stares at Connie and nods. I'll do it. Then everyone all jumps down from the flying boat as they land in front of the fort. Once they are all off, Onyankopon turns the airship around and brings Levi back to Parody Island.